In the first part, we focused on the history of Transylvanian Unitarianism, its distinctive features, organisation and liturgy. Now, let us take a closer look at several other areas. For Unitarians all around the world, since the very beginnings of this denomination, education has played a crucial role. This is also true for Transylvania. In fact, it has been so since the late Middle Ages.
Until the 1948, there was a well-defined school system in the Unitarian Church, starting from kindergarten to the seminary, but unfortunately the communists took away everything. And in 70 years, so many things have changed that after the revolution in 1990, what happened is that we've got back the two big Unitarian high schools, which is the Unitarian High School from Kolozsvár and the one from Székelykeresztúr. And we were able to establish some Unitarian groups in different schools. We tried to propagate our Unitarian values, but the number of Unitarian students, it's very small. We are an open school where basically everybody can study and there is no indoctrination going on, but we strongly believe that those who have contact with us become aware of the values we have.
Let us now visit one of the Unitarian secondary schools mentioned earlier.
This is the Unitarian High School from Székelykeresztúr. The name of the institution is Berde Mózes Unitarian High School. This is a school founded by the Unitarian Church back at the end of the 18th century. Right now it's an institution which is working as a state school, but also this community is supported by the Unitarian Church from Transylvania. We have a little bit less than 500 students in the institution, and we are working in 4 levels of studying, from nursery school to elementary school, middle school and high school. And we are trying to complete the knowledge of our students, which is offered by the state with knowledge offered by the church. Every week we attend to a worship service in the Unitarian Church, and this is a local practice that high school students are leading this worship. Also non-Unitarian students are allowed and they are welcome to offer their thoughts of praying during the worship service. The school institution is is financed by the state. All the teachers are employees of the state, and also the Unitarian Church has the opportunity to choose between the teachers. So everybody who is teaching in a Unitarian high school has the permission of the bishop of the church. This school provided a lot of students who continued their studies and became Unitarian ministers. About 40% of the Unitarian ministers who are serving now, they are coming from this school and these parts of Transylvania.
Anyone in Transylvania who wishes to become a minister must, after completing secondary school, continue their studies at the Protestant Theological Institute in Kolozsvár, which is shared by 3 denominations: the Lutherans, the Reformed Church, and the Unitarians. The institute was founded as early as the 19th century, and despite certain restrictions, managed to survive even during the politically turbulent times.
I should talk a little bit about the communist times when there were a rule which was called numerus clausus, which meant that every year only one or maybe two students were allowed to come to the seminary. So the number of our ministers has decreased a lot in the 80s. In the 90s, usually the number of students at the seminary was around 30. But slowly this number has decreased significantly, so currently we have only 18 students studying in 6 years of seminary. One of the big difference from American universities, for example, is that we normally or usually have people coming at a very young age. Well, the statistics say that 100% of those who graduated work as ministers. But ministers in different areas. The majority of them are parish ministers. Some of them are working in hospitals as CPE. Everybody is getting a job. There is no problem about that. We were the first church to allow women. In the 90s, there was a restriction. There was always 2-3 places for women. But since I think 20-25 years ago now, there is no numerus clausus, and currently the number of women students is 50%.
The broader field of education also includes work with children and youth. In this area too, Transylvanian Unitarians have a long and still living tradition. Children have their place in worship services. Many congregations run Sunday schools, and in some places even church kindergartens. When young Unitarians reach the age of confirmation, they can join the Unitarian Youth, an organisation that bears the name of Ferenc David.
The David Ferenc Youth Association was founded in 1900. Members of associations organized conference for young people.
Among the other activities of the association at the national level are various camps, symposia, and festivals focused on cultural projects and the artistic work of emerging authors, as well as more academic conferences where young participants learn how to present their work. All of this naturally requires significant resources. The association's activities are financially supported by the church's overall budget, as well as by sponsors and a variety of funds and grant programs in both Romania and Hungary.
I would like to present the nowadays of our association. Nowadays, from the spring to the fall, we are organizing different events. We are starting with a road trip when we are going to the different congregations of our church to visit local members of our association. After that, we have a sports Olympic where we are promoting the healthy life, and we are promoting the teamwork, and we are promoting the religious life for young people. We have like 800 or 900 members of association. This is the number of youth that come to our events in each year. I think that it's very, very important to work with young people because they are the future of the church.
This means that the sphere of youth work must receive full attention. It is necessary to stay one step ahead, to think about what young people are looking for, what they can bring to Unitarian communities and what they themselves need.
Probably the most important things are that they need to feel loved and they need to feel heard. And they need a whole lot of patience. I mean, we need a whole lot of patience working with them in according to love them and listen to them. They need closeness. They need to feel that we as church and we as ministers are there for them. That this is a safe place where they can truly grow and they can also be heard.
Let us now give voice to their views. How do some representatives of the young generation of Transylvanian Unitarians, students of the Unitarian Secondary School in Koľař, see Unitarianism today?
Hello, my name is Csaba. I am from Koľař, and my general idea of Unitarianism is that it serves as an alternative in Christianity between the churches, where I truly believe that we can accept each other for the way we are, for the way we think. We have our own beliefs and we respect that. And I think that is the strongest point of Unitarianism.
My name is Szilágyi Alpár, and I'm from a small city named Sepsi-Szentgyörgy, St. George in English. The Unitarian religion is the religion of all possibilities. Here you are taught to believe in your way.
One thing that I really enjoy about my religion and the history of my religion is that it was always in a sense, it was radical. It was radical to question the traditions of Christianity concerning the Holy Trinity or other parts of Christianity that are considered dogmas or doctrines. And I wish that we would go back to this radicalism, that we would be once again a new wave, a different wave in the world where we question the tradition, where we ask these important questions that, yes, these things are expected from us.
I'm really proud of what our ancestors did for the future generations. But in the meantime, I feel that even if we give respect to our history, we should not be stuck in that. Of course, history unites us because it gives us a personality, an identity. But of course, we always have to look to our future and what we can take from history, what we can filter through the now, and which comes out of that filter, how can be implemented in the future.
Another important and at the same time fascinating topic is the active role of women in the development of Transylvanian Unitarianism, not only in the ministry itself. We touched upon this briefly in the first part, but it certainly deserves more attention.
So if we want to talk about the women in the Hungarian Unitarian Church, we have to go back to the 19th century. That's when women started to come into our seminary to study, and they were hoping to become ministers. But as time went by and as the communists came into Romania, they weren't allowed to be ordained. The change came in 1993. That's when the first women who came to the seminary were ordained to become ministers. And since 1993, They started like 3 women back then, but nowadays it's the percentage is in the favor of the women, so it's it's a feminized job. As here in Transylvania, we're a very traditional group, Hungarians over here. It was really hard for them to be accepted. The majority of the Unitarians here in Transylvania are in villages, so more conservative groups. Usually when a community wanted to elect a new minister, they usually said back in the days that we do not want a minister with skirt. We had the women ministries who stayed very strongly in their places, but then again we had the women's organization who put so much effort in the life of the Unitarian Church that even the lay presidents started to admit that we need women in our congregation, and we need their work, we need their perspective, and we need that fine touch that a woman can give to us.
Regardless of whether the minister is a man or a woman, their focus today looks much the same. However, historically, the content and focus of ministerial service have changed.
The role of the minister has changed significantly in the past 100 and something years. Before the communist period, ministers had a very, very specific religious job in the life of a congregation. They were usually present at the board meetings of the congregation, but they were by far not leading these boards. After communism appeared in Romania, basically people who were lay people, members of the congregation, were discouraged to be active in church life, which meant that ministers had to take on the role and responsibilities of actually leading every single aspect of the congregation. After 1989, several steps were made to return to the previous place and ministers' focus on ministerial activities. It is very hard because people got used basically that the congregations are the, so to say, property of the ministers, and it's very hard to get them involved into actually understanding that the congregation is not the possession of a minister, but it's their own possession, if one might say it so, and it is also their responsibility to lead the congregation. Ministers, when they start their ministerial career, they are usually quite young, so we are different by other Unitarian and Unitarian Universalist communities around the world. For the vast majority of Unitarian ministers serving here, me included, this is our first career. Usually we will apply for some of the congregations, and from this on the question varies. So there are ministers who settle very quickly and find the congregation that they will serve for 30 or even more years. Others will change their congregations more frequently.
For most members of a congregation, the minister's work is naturally associated primarily with leading worship. Yet this is only the tip of the iceberg. From this perspective, the much greater part of everyday ministerial work remains almost invisible.
In the first hours of the day, we would usually do congregational works, meaning that like from 10 a.m. We have different groups, biblical groups. We have all kind of groups for those people whose first sequence of the day is free. These are the elderly, so we would do groups for them. We would work with the kids. We have the catechism group, and in the afternoon we would have the groups for young adults. But also between meeting and greeting and staying in touch with these people, we have to do a lot of paperwork. We have to do a lot of graphic design, for example. Having a large community, we have a lot of baptisms and funerals especially, so we're dealing with that also in the week time.
Being present here and now for everyone in need is, of course, not enough. For the healthy life of every Unitarian organisation, it is just as important to reflect on its own future and on the challenges that lie ahead. What then is crucial for the future of Transylvanian Unitarianism?
In the sense of being dynamic enough to be able to keep up and to implement everything what is needed to serve the actual nowadays needs of a religious person and the religious community. So in one word saying it, I wish that our church, with all those values which we achieved along our history, to be as modern, as postmodern, as actual as possible. Those values from the history are valuable only if they are alive, only if we implement them, only if they're in our everyday life.
The reason I'm still doing this job, why I still feel that I'm needed, is that I want to create a community. The most radical thing we can do is to introduce people to each other. So this is what I want to do. Ministers come and go, but the group, the congregation stays, and I want them to feel safe next to each other.
A beautiful example of this idea put into practice is the successful community centre project in the village of Chehetvalva.
This center was founded in 2016, and we have two main projects. One is the camping for children and young adults. The other is the warm meal program. We prepare in this building and our kitchen about 70, 80, sometimes 100 portion of warm meal, and we bring to people's home in 15 villages. Many of the elderly live alone. They are sick, they need protection, they need somebody to come and see them and be with them, and for them this meal program is not about the meal, which is very important, but it's about the company, it's about the belonging to somewhere.
The continuous strengthening of personal relationships is important not only at the local level, but throughout the entire organisation, from the headquarters down to the smallest congregations.
We have about 146 churches and about 120 ministers in Transylvania and Hungary. And for the headquarters and for the bishop itself, it's really important to keep up a lively relationship, to be in constant communication with them. The bishop tries to be present at almost every ceremony and happening the churches have. Communication is helped also by the deans of different districts in our church. We have 7 districts in our church. Every district has its own dean, and one of their tasks is to help the communication between the ministers and the headquarters.
In today's world, however, this must be complemented and supported by modern tools for building community, such as social media.
The social media helps us to keep alive, to engage, to communicate, to build our community an even stronger one. And it helps a lot because this way we can connect even more than before, because we work and think a lot on different topics, and we had to travel before that to be able to be together and think together, but now it's easier.
And this is confirmed by the young generation themselves. They are even ready to go further in their reflections towards understanding the deeper meaning of spiritual communities in the modern world.
We also engaged in the social life. Of course, we can say that the social media has 2 sides, depends on how people use it. And this is our mission, to give people hope, not to force them in a religion, but to give them hope that the importance of religion is getting much and more important nowadays. And this is how social media can help us, I think.
I agree with you, but we cannot ignore the fact that the younger generations or the children, those who are even younger than us, they are completely indulged in social media. They are absolutely connected in it. And the problem is that in some cases there are no connections outside of social media.
Our main quest is to give people something that they don't really experience in their everyday lives. So this is the most biggest challenge of the church.
It's not just a community. This isn't something that would be no different from a regular community. This is something divine. This is something deeper. And of course, people have been trying to define this difference for a long time, but I believe that I do not need to say what is so different. You need to feel it.
The key of connection is the vision. What would you like to do with that divine congregation, and what do you want to achieve? And some say that not the destination is the important, but the journey. But in this case, I think both the journey and the destination is important.